All right, 20.6 is about simple interest. Interest is what is paid on top of like money borrowed. If you know anything about credit cards, when you borrow money, when you use a credit card, it's not just the money that you're spending. You actually spend more than what your total is if you go to a store when you pay on a credit card, because there's this thing called interest. So interest is a percentage that is put on top of whatever the amount that is borrowed. So this right here is our formula for interest. I equals P times R times T. So the I is our interest. That is the extra amount that you will pay on top of what is borrowed. The principal, so that is what our P represents. Principal is the original amount. The R is your rate, and you always want to write your rate as a decimal. And then your time is your time in years. And then what we're going to do is we take our principal times our rate times our time, and we multiply them all together, and that will give you your interest. All right, so this is number 1 on your RW 119. So the first thing they give us here is the principal is $800. So that's what you would be borrowing. Let's say that you are making a big purchase, and so you need to borrow $800 from a bank. They charge a 12% interest rate, and you're going to find out how much do you pay over the course of 2 years, okay? So our principal is $800. That's already written the way that it should be. Our rate is 12%, but we need to write that as a decimal, so that's 0.12, and then our time is already in years, so we're good. So we're going to say 800 times 0.12 times 2, and that's going to give us our interest, and that's all we're asking for is just the interest right now. So that means if I were to multiply these together, I get 192, and we're working with money. Every one of these is going to be money, so we need to label it with a $sign. So I would pay $192 just in interest if I borrowed $800 at 12%. So that means I'm actually paying the total. Anytime you see the word total, I would add it back together. So I'd say this 800 plus the interest would be $992. So this is where you can see with interest, when you charge things on a credit card, something like that, you are definitely paying more than what you would if you had the money to pay for it. So something at $800, 12% interest over the course of 2 years, I actually paid $992, not $800. So we want to double check the questions though. What am I doing? Am I finding the interest or am I finding the total? So let's go ahead and do another one. All right, this one is number 3. So we're going to double check. We have the principal is $2,600. Our rate is 5%. Our time is 6 months. So remember, our principal, it's already there at $2,600. So we have that. Our rate needs to be written as a decimal, and this is 5%. Remember, I move it twice. So it's 0.05. 0.5 is 50%. It is not the same. You're going to end up with a much higher interest amount. So 0.05. And then we have 6 months. 6 months, remember, time is in years. So this is half a year. So we could say 1/2 or we could say 0.5. So our principal is $2,600. Our rate is 0.05 and our time is 0.5. So we go ahead and multiply that out on our calculator. Again, I can use my calculator, but I want to make sure that I have each step written down. And my interest is just $65. So $65 is my interest. That's all it's asking for. So we're good. If it had asked for my total, I would add that back to the principal. Okay, I'm going to take another example. This one happens to be from the back side, so your homework side of your worksheet. The reason why I'm using this one is because time is in a different format again. So we're going to go ahead and start. Our principal is $4,000. That is a given. Our rate is 7.5%. It is not written as a decimal, although it has a decimal in it. I still need to move that decimal 2 spots. So it's 0.075. I don't want to round it because I'm using all of that information. So I use all of the decimal places. 0.075 is 7.5%. And then 18 months. 18 months is a year and a half. 1 year is 12 months, so I'd take that 18 divided by 12. So 18 divided by 12 is going to give me 1.5. That's a year and a half. So that's what I use as my time. Remember, time is always in years, always in years. So I'm going to take this 4,000 times 0.075 times 1.5, and that will give me 450. So my interest is $450. I want to look back at my directions. What does it say to find the interest or to find the total or what I would repay? If it's just the interest, it's 450. Total, I would add that back to the 4,000. Okay, so make sure that you understand what you're looking for. Total, you're going to add back. If you're just looking for the interest, this is what we're doing, is this process right here, the principal times the rate times the time. Good luck.